Hare Krishna. So let's begin with prayers. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare So wish you all a happy Ganesh Chaturthi in advance. Tomorrow is Ganesh Chaturthi, a very special festival. We will talk about some of the life lessons that we can imbibe from Lord Ganesha, his activities in today's session, along with the lessons that we can learn from the second chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. Last week we had discussed the first chapter, Arjuna's lamentation. So even though Arjuna was well equipped with all military science, still he became emotionally overwhelmed when he saw his relatives on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. And this is something unprecedented, something which was not expected. After coming to the battlefield, after having so much of discussions, making so many preparations, you come on the battlefield knowing very well whom you have to oppose, whom you have to fight. And after that you become so dejected. And Arjuna was literally suffering. That we understand from some of the verses that he spoke in the first chapter. He was saying that my mind is reeling, my body is trembling, my famous bow Gandiva is slipping away from my hand, and I don't see any purpose. He was literally crying. And in fact, he made a statement that I don't mind maintaining myself by begging. So this was the kind of trauma that Arjuna was going through on the battlefield. But on the other hand, Krishna, who was very calmly listening to whatever his friend and devotee Arjuna was speaking, Krishna was actually smiling. He was not at all overpowered by the emotional trauma that Arjuna was going through. So from this, what do we understand? In the same situation, there are two people. Not that one is indifferent to the other. Krishna is very empathetic towards Arjuna. But Arjuna is so much engrossed and overwhelmed with the situation, whereas Krishna is standing there smiling as if he has got nothing to do with that situation. So what makes Krishna smile at the situation which is frightening Arjuna? So from this we can understand, we can conclude that suffering is actually optional. That is the topic of today's session, right? Suffering is optional. Engagement ring may be compulsory. Suffering, there are 3 rings: engagement ring, marriage ring, and suffering. They say everybody has to have these 3 rings in their life, right? I'm not trying to discourage anybody who has plans for getting these, at least the first 2 rings. But the 3rd ring is actually optional, right? So why am I saying this? If you see, if you study the chapters of the Bhagavad Gita, in one of the chapters, in one of the verses, Lord Krishna says, he gives an adjective to describe this material world, and he says, this material world is Dukhalayam Ashashvatam. Dukhalayam. Alaya means abode, place, abode, place. Dukha means miseries. Right? So we have Granthalaya. Granthalaya means abode of books, place where you can find books. Any other alayas? Vidyalaya, where you can find lot of people named Vidya. Is it? Vidyalaya means knowledge, place where you can imbibe knowledge. Then Devalaya, place you can see the Lord. Then Meghalaya. Yeah, the state is called Meghalaya because it is always clouded, rain, and one of the big places which has recorded the highest rainfall in India, Mausin Ram. Right? We have in that state, right? In Meghalaya. So that's very apt name. So why are you people opting to sit down? Comfortable. Okay. Sukhalaya. So the point is, there is Alaya. So Krishna is saying this material world is Dukhalaya. If you go to the north, you will see Himalaya. Himalaya is the abode of snow. Right? Suppose somebody goes to Himalaya and then he starts complaining, it is so cold. What is this place? This is so bad place. It is very cold. It is always snowing. Arey, why did you go there? Who asked you to go there? And that place is Himalaya. The name itself says that it is a place filled with Hima, snow, ice. So it will be cold. So now in the material world is, it is characterized or it is described by the Creator Himself as Dukhalaya. It's a place of misery. You will find only misery here. Many people don't bother to read the Bhagavad Gita, so they expect everything will be Sukha, very nice, happy. So then they understand, what is this? I expected something and something else has come up, tragedy in life. So that is why it's important to read the Bhagavad Gita. So miseries are mandatory, but suffering is optional. What is the difference between the two? So miseries you cannot control. Miseries can come upon you from various sources. For example, now rainy season. For some people it is very nice, enjoyable. For some people it is suffering. Yes or no? Oh, it is so miserable. So every time I get drenched. I can't, especially those who are driving two-wheeler. So they'll be cursing why these rains are coming. Isn't it? Maybe those who are driving in a four-wheeler, they don't worry. It's okay. I'm protected, well protected. Right? Sometimes there are floods. Recently we had floods in South India, many places. Right? And many people lost their lives. So miseries can come to us from any source. And the Vedic scriptures describe that there are three primary sources of miseries. The first one is called Adhyatmik Klesha. Klesha means misery. Three kinds of miseries every one of us have to go through. Or three kinds of miseries are inflicted upon us. First one is Adhyatmik. Adhyatmik means something that you get from yourself. Misery is caused by your own mind, by your own body. Body is actually a breeding ground for innumerable diseases. It's a fact. So, misery is caused by body and mind. That is called adhyatmic miseries. Second is misery is caused by other living entities. Like for example, mosquitoes come and bite you. You didn't call them, you didn't invite them, but they still come and bite you. Sometimes they also sing a nice song, right? When you're sleeping near the ear, they come and sing. Maybe they want you to forget the biting pain. So they are also performing some musical thing for you. But there is misery there. Correct? So that comes under Adi Bhautik misery. Adi Bhautik means from other living entities you are subjected to miseries. The third kind of misery is called Adi Daivik. Misery is caused by higher forces of nature. It could be miseries due to earthquakes or floods, Ativrishti, Anavrishti, when there is too much rain or when there is too little rain. All these cause miseries. So every moment, each one of us, we are suffering at least one of these miseries, sometimes a combination of these miseries. Miseries are there, right? But then today's session is suffering is optional. If miseries are there, how can suffering be optional? Could be the question. Yes, see for example, first we will talk in how in a materialistic way we can counter these miseries. Say for example, we'll take the example of the first one. What is the first kind of misery? Adhyatmic misery. Misery is caused by your own body. So if you stay fit, eat healthy, do your exercises, eat healthy food, don't eat junk food, have good regulation in your eating and sleeping habits, then you can actually lead a healthy life. You can stay away from so many diseases. Yes or no? So that is one material way of countering your diseases, which is adhyatmic miseries. But of course, we also see many examples where well-built people who would go to the gym regularly, even they get a heart attack all of a sudden in the prime of their youth. Unexpected. Right? But anyway, you can do something about your health. Yes or no? Then let us see mosquitoes. I gave an example. So what can you do for it? Yeah, Odomos. Isn't it? Good night. Or you have a mosquito net. So you can counter to a certain extent. Correct? And then the last one, Adi Daivik miseries. In Japan, if you see, Japan is a land of earthquakes. So they have developed a way over a period of time to build earthquake resistant houses. So there will be some earthquakes, it will not affect. Or many times, the house collapses and again they will just arrange it back, house is back. Right? So they have that kind of it. So the point is we can counter. Now, let us see the spiritual approach. Now, even though you can counter these miseries through using our intelligence, our advancement in science and technology, but there is a limit to our attempts. Yes or no? There's a limit to our attempts. We cannot say we have conquered all the miseries. So sometimes you see, even if there is, for example, you see the Twin Towers were attacked in the US. So US is such an advanced country Now they had such good security system and all of that, but still somebody could breach that security and still attack the Twin Towers and it really caused a big suffering to the entire US economy and also to the security of the country, and many lives were lost. So you cannot say I will have the best of the technology and I will make sure that no suffering is there. No, it cannot happen. It cannot happen. So through our limited resources, our advancement in science and technology, we may counter, but that's not the ultimate. That's not the ultimate way of countering miseries, because that also has many loopholes. Now then, what is the actual way of countering? So how are we saying that suffering is actually optional? So for that, paradigm shift is the key. I would like to give the example of one Holocaust survivor. During the World War in Germany, Adolf Hitler, he had huge gas chambers, and he used to attack. He used to forcibly dump people into a concentration camp. What's a concentration camp? Just to give an idea, suppose in this room comfortably, let's say 20-25 people can sit comfortably, but if I put 200 people into this room and forcibly stuff people here, that's a concentration camp. So everybody is anxious because they are seeing in front of their own eyes there are people who are getting killed by pushing them into the gas chambers. And then, in fact, some of them only are employed for doing that. Some of those prisoners, or whomever you call, the victims of the concentration camp, some of them only are employed. They are only actually forcing others to enter the concentration camp, the gas chambers, and killing them. And if there are 200 people, food that is sufficient only for 10 people or 15 people will be given every day. And everybody, survival of the fittest. Right? What people do, they don't mind killing each other. They fight against each other just to get a few morsels of food. Just imagine the kind of state of mind that those people would be going through. It's not a very pleasant experience. Forget about pleasant. It's not even, survival. Even survival is a problem there. So, one of the concentration camp victims, or whoever was there, his name was Viktor Frankl. So what he did was, he thought, he was interacting with a lot of people in the concentration camp day in and day out, and most of the people had become practically hopeless about life. They didn't have any hope that they will survive and go out and lead a normal life back like before. They had practically given up all hope. Okay. He would speak to them, but then once he was actually contemplating, he was thinking like this: Hitler can control in which place I will live. Hitler can, with his power and influence, he can control how much food will reach me every day. Hitler can control all these things, but Hitler cannot control one thing. Hitler cannot control how I feel about what is happening with me in life. That is wholly and solely under my control. Externals Hitler can decide, he can control, but my internal environment, only I have a say. Now when he got this kind of when he was having this kind of a thought process, he called it as a paradigm shift. There was a paradigm shift in his thinking. He said, Hitler can do this to me, but I can choose not to get affected. I can choose not to get emotionally overwhelmed. That is under my control. So then he started speaking to people around him in the concentration camp. And when he shared these thoughts with others, others also could see a ray of hope. Situation had not changed for them, but their perception about reality had changed. See, it's not the reality that affects us. It is the perception of our reality that affects us. Our perception of the reality affects us. This is a very, very important thinking. It's a very, very important, it can be a life changer for us. This is what Lord Krishna is speaking in the Bhagavad Gita. By speaking Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna, Krishna's intention was not to change his reality, not to change his circumstance, but he wanted to change Arjuna's perception of the reality. Now, this is what can happen to each one of us when we study Bhagavad Gita. There can occur a paradigm shift, surely, in each one of us. Many times we get stuck with people around us, we're stuck with situations, problems, challenges, but Bhagavad Gita can liberate us. Real liberation is liberation from your own self-imposed conditions, self-imposed negativity, self-imposed ignorance. This is real liberation. We should not think liberation, mukti, moksha means something which you get after death. No. Real mukti, moksha, liberation is how free you are from the dictates of your senses, your mind, your preconceived notions. That is liberation. And Bhagavad Gita gives us that knowledge which can free us from all these kinds of self-imposed ignorance. So, in the second chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna begins to speak. The actual Bhagavad Gita begins in the second chapter. So Arjuna's assumptions, through Arjuna, all our assumptions are challenged in the Bhagavad Gita. So all of us, when we get up in the morning, we probably wash our face and look at the mirror. And what do we see? We see our beautiful face. We spend a lot of time in front of the mirror trying to see what can I do about it. And what do we see is the body. So therefore, beyond a doubt, we are fully convinced with this understanding that I am this body. We have 100% conviction on this. In fact, even in the middle of night, if somebody wakes you up from the deep sleep and asks, we can say, yes, I am this body. We are so convinced about it. But then, Lord Krishna is, the first thing that he is attacking is, you are not this body. You are not this body. You are never this body. In the past also you had many bodies, you are none of those bodies. Now you have a body, you are not going to be this, you are not this body. In the future also, if you get any more bodies, you are not any of those bodies. So the first important paradigm shift that can occur to a sincere reader of Bhagavad Gita as it is he gets to know that what I was thinking about myself all these number of years is actually nonsense. It is wrong. See, because of this one statement that I am this body, one ignorant understanding about oneself, we build a whole castle of lies, castle of negativity, ignorance around us. The foundation is this one statement, I am this body. And that gives rise to many other lies and ignorance that govern our decisions and actions in our life. So if the basic assumption, the axiom itself is wrong, all other derivations, all other proofs that you are going to present will all be wrong, no? My basic assumption itself is wrong. Then how will I get the right proof or right solution to my problem? So where most of the people in this world, in fact everybody in this world is going wrong, is with this basic wrong assumption about themselves, and Krishna is challenging that very assumption. So he says, Dehinosmin yatha dehe kaumaram yavanam jara tatha dehantara praptihi dhiras tatrana muhyati. This is chapter 2, shloka number 13. Lord Krishna says. He gives an analogy to make us understand. He says, just like in this life, you went through various phases in your life, from boyhood to youthhood to old age. Your body has undergone so many structural changes, but you are still the same person. How do you know you are still the same person? Because still you remember some things which happened in your childhood. You are the same person. You are witnessing all these phases in your life, yet your body is continuously changing. So something which is constantly changing is not you. It's not your real identity. Your identity is beyond something, beyond this changing body. So therefore he uses the word dehi. So there are two things, deha and dehi. Deha is the body, dehi is the dweller of the body. The person who dwells, who lives inside the body. Just like, suppose now I have rented a house. So I live inside the house. I'm not the house. Should I say that now I am this house because I am living in this house? No. I am the occupant of this house. I am not the house. Actually, you may be thinking, why understanding this is so important? Because as I said, all the assumptions, decisions, actions that govern our life is based on the ignorance about our own identity. So, Lord Krishna is saying this, that the root cause of all your suffering. You know why you are suffering, Arjuna? Because you are identifying yourself with this body, with these circumstances. Once you identify yourself with this body, you will also start identifying with all those people who are related to this body. Right? Oh, because I am the son of such and such a person, he is very dear to me, or she is very dear to me. She and he are very related to me. All others, oh, let them go to hell, it's okay. I don't bother about them. I bother about these people because my body is connected with them. Some people may come up with a little broader idea. No, it's not simply about my family and my relatives, near and dear ones. It's about my community. Because I have an identity as part of this community. And where is that identity coming from? Again, based on the understanding that I have this body. And this body, I have a certain kind of a lifestyle. I have learned something from my community. I identify myself with this community. So therefore I have to be loyal to this community. Some people say, no. Some more broad-minded people say, no, it's not just about community. It's about maybe a state or a nation. We all belong to this nation because this body was born in this nation. Right? But even that is not the ultimate thinking, because when you identify yourself with one nation, automatically you will see people of the other nation are my enemies. You're not very cordial to them in many aspects, because I have demarked, I have made a boundary. This is my state, my nation, and here this is mine. But actually, all these, they are concocted isms. This ism, that ism. Yes or no? Many isms have taken birth in this world. All that, if you trace back, you will see based on this assumption that I am the body. I am just a spirit soul. And whether it is an American or a Japanese or an African or an Indian, it doesn't matter. Bodies may be different, But basically, everyone is an individual soul. Everybody is part and parcel of the same Supreme Lord. So this kind of Udara Charitam Nantu Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. This is the message of the Vedic understanding. If you want to become truly Udara means broad-minded. Don't identify with the small community, small group, this ism, that ism. No, you are beyond all of these. You actually belong to that Supreme Lord. Everyone belongs to the same Supreme Lord. Again, now somebody may say, no, my God is different from your God. Now again, this is stemming from the same understanding, because I belong to this community, I profess this religion. Okay, my God looks different, their God is different. In some religion, there is no God's face only is not there. So therefore, fight. My God is great or your God is great. So then there have been wars fought, bloodsheds in the name of religion, crusades. All this is because of the same understanding that I am this body. You see how at an individual level we suffer, at a bigger scale the world is suffering because of this wrong understanding that I am the body. Therefore, that's why Lord Krishna is starting his instructions with this, that you are not the body. You are in this body. Next time you may be in another body. Right? Suppose somebody is, in this life, he is against, say, Pakistan. Pakistan, Murdabad, Pakistan, this, die-hard, not fan, enemy. Now, it might so happen that his karma may lead to his taking birth in the next life as a Pakistani. So that country which he was saying Murdabad in his past life, now he has to say Zindabad. He has no other option. See how these designations which come along with the body are so flickering, they are so temporary, and we make a big issue out of it. Of course, I am not saying that, Indians should have this broad mind, let the Pakistanis come and attack. Yes, we are all spirit souls. No, not like that. Right? Otherwise, Krishna wouldn't have told Arjuna to fight at the end of all this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. Right? The basic idea is that we will not attack anybody. But when enemy attacks, we will not simply sit. That is there. Self-protection is not a sin. But the point is, if we identify ourselves with this body, then the result is suffering only. It's suffering. Suppose somebody comments about your way of life, right? Or your philosophy in life. Somebody may be attached to communistic philosophy, somebody may be attached to capitalistic, socialistic, so many isms, right? Suppose somebody speaks wrongly, derogatorily about your assumptions or your ism. What will you feel? How will you feel? Will you feel very happy? Blood will start boiling. They say, right? How can he talk like this about it? So, and then a person does not even hesitate to go and kill the other person. That's happening today. So my philosophy is greater than yours, so you're not accepting, I'll just kill you. So how this is called bodily conception of life. So bodily conception of life narrows our thinking, it narrows down our worldview. It makes us lesser than animals. At least animals don't have this kind of a thinking, Animals don't have this kind of a thinking. Animals are animals. But we, using our intelligence, we have come up with all these isms based on the bodily conception of life, and that has costed a lot to our personal happiness and to the world at large. Now in the very next verse, Lord Krishna gives another important life-changing principle. He says, Matra sparshastu kaunteya shitoshna sukha dukkhadaha agama apayino anityaha tam stitikshasva bharatam. Bharata. Bharata means, O descendant of Bharata, O Arjuna, he's saying, Matra sparshastu kaunteya, O son of Kunti, O Arjuna, you are experiencing happiness and distress in this life. Yes, but they are all caused by perception of your senses. Your senses perceive one kind of a situation to be happiness, and the senses and the mind label that situation to be happiness. And your senses perceive another kind of situation to be miseries, and your senses and mind has labeled it to be miserable. It's all labeling. It's all your perception. That means actually there is no real happiness or misery, is it? If everything is in the mind only, if everything is perception, does reality exist? In fact, this is what quantum physics is all about. What is reality? Matter, antimatter, they talk about all of these things. Actually, that is already told in the Bhagavad Gita in a very interesting way. Right? So, Matra sparshastu kaunteya shitoshna. Shita ushna. Shita means cold, winter. Ushna means hot, summer. Summer and winter. Krishna is giving this example. Your sukha and dukkha are like summer and winter. When there is summer, what will you feel? Oh, it is so hot. When will I get out of this? Then we go and drink cool drinks. We drink ice cold water. What not we do to relieve ourselves from the scorching summer. But when winter comes, then we feel, oh, why this winter has come? Isn't it? We get so disturbed by winter, by summer. But the matter of fact is neither summer nor winter are permanent. Neither of them is permanent. If summer has to come, it has to go away, then next winter has to come. So one who understands this, these are fleeting. Fleeting means what? It's not constant. This too shall pass.
So, but experience is real.
Yeah, experience is real. Why experience is also caused? Experience is real, but the experience is, it is, what do you call? What is this called? Amplified. Amplified by your mind, perception. If real experience is 1 rupee, your mind makes it 1,000 rupees. It can make, it has that ability. So there is a flat happiness, there is amplified happiness. There is flat distress, there is amplified distress. Our mind keeps amplifying this. Another thing that the mind does is mind eternalizes the present. Mind eternalizes the present. Oh, maybe throughout my life I have to suffer like this. And then we start getting into a series of negative thoughts. Isn't it? So therefore Krishna is saying these are all your mind game. This is mind game. Happiness, distress is just like summer and winter. It appears, it disappears. It just comes and goes. What should you do? Tam titikshasva bharata. Titikshasva means develop tolerance. Don't get disturbed by all these things, because your human life has got a higher purpose. It is not simply to become distressed and affected by everything that happens in your life. That is not the purpose of life. Your life has got a higher purpose. Focus on that. Every time if you keep getting distressed and dejected by, oh, this person told me like this, that person spoke to me like this person treated me like this. So your life is all about what others did to you and how you are a victim of circumstances and people around you. What are you achieving in your life? Whole life you're only complaining. And time and tide wait for none. One lost moment of time will never come back again, even if you give millions of dollars. That means each moment is so precious. Money that is lost can be earned back, but time that is lost will never come back. So each and every moment that we have spent in our life, cribbing about circumstances, complaining about people in our life, it is all wasted time. Waste. You could not bring about any change. Forget about changing them. You can't change anybody actually. You have to change yourself. And that time is simply wasted. It's useless. It's gone. It will never come back. See how much time we are wasting like this in our daily life. And the root cause of all this is what? Identification with the body and mind. Nowadays, people upload lot of selfies on Facebook, Insta, right? And with the hope that people who are my friends should like, should send a heart, should pass some good comments about, they should appreciate how beautiful or handsome I am. And for that they spend lot of time, isn't it? One is trying to do something with the body. After taking going to some, trying all kinds of things, whatever. I don't know, you all know better than that. After taking the photos, they also do Photoshop editing also. For that also a lot of time they spend. And finally when they upload and they don't get the expected number of likes or hearts, they get so dejected in life. That means you are thinking that your life's value is only decided by the likes and hearts and comments that people in some social media whom you don't even know, they are going to give to you. Is this the quality of life you want to lead? Then we are worse than animals. At least animals won't do such a, what do you call? Dumb thing. Animals don't do so. They are not dumb. Animals, we are dumber than animals. It's a fact. Animals don't go, lion doesn't go and say, today am I looking nice? All my hair, the mane is good. Can we have a selfie please? No. I am what I am. Of course, I'm not saying there is no place for, making yourself look good and all. There is a place for all this, but too much is too bad. Everything has to be within limits. So one fine day, the body which you are taking care of so much, the face will become wrinkled. You yourself will become disgusted about it. Body becomes a breeding ground of so many diseases. You can't sit properly, you can't stand properly, you can't walk. So that body which I was so much taking care of, spending so much time to decorate and to make it look good, now it has become a source of misery for me. Why it has become a source of misery? Because you are thinking that body is a source of happiness. But body is neither of them. Body is just an instrument. You have to use it properly to achieve a higher purpose. That's all. Don't try to squeeze out happiness, pleasure from your body. So how much you want to, sometimes people say, Javani mein sab kuch kar dena hai. When you are young, you should experience everything. Why? So that when you become old, you become more depressed. Actually, that's what happens. I was just reading some time back, one of the most beautiful heroines of Bollywood. Every movie of her was a blockbuster hit. And people were actually waiting, many producers were waiting for her date so that, she can be in their movie and all of that. But after some time, when she grew old and she was no more attractive, So her demand became less. People were not asking her anymore. And she writes on one of the social media, she says, how this entertainment industry is such a cruel industry. She says this. So when you're looking good, everybody's saying, wow, wow, wow. But when you're no more attractive, nobody even bats an eyelid. Nobody wants to look at you. It's a fact. So if your perception of beauty is only about external body, this is what is going to happen. It can happen to any one of us, not only to that Bollywood heroine, it can happen to any one of us. That's why it is said, beauty is skin deep. Beauty is only skin deep. Imagine if our skins were all transparent. If each one of us sitting here, our skins, if it was transparent skin, you can actually see the veins, the blood vessels, the nerves inside your body. It is visible to each other. Everyone will get scared looking at others. Not only looking at others, looking at yourself. So thanks to the skin actually. So skin is making us feel, okay, yeah, acha hai. Kaisa hai ladka, acha hai ladka. Well, we say like that. But actually, so the real beauty is soul's beauty. So Lord Krishna is trying to say, if your whole life you're simply worrying about how to enhance your body's beauty, you're wasted your whole lifetime. When will you think about soul's beauty? When will you think about nurturing the soul, which is the real you? See, this is paradigm shift. If somebody is serious about it, sincerely he tries to understand what Krishna is trying to say in the Bhagavad Gita, you can change your life. You can become liberated from all those negativities that are self-imposed. Oh, people didn't like me. Oh, people passed comments at me. People did this, people did that. It's okay. Why? Let them do whatever they want to do. Why you are getting affected? You are getting affected because you are attached to this idea that I am this body. Right? So, becoming free from this wrong conception about our real position, real identity, that is liberation. That you will feel liberated actually. That is liberation. So perception. So I was telling suffering is optional. So now actually suffering is optional. It's optional. You are suffering because you are intimidated by people's words or actions against your body, which you feel is your real identity. But in the first place, you are not the real identity. I mean, the body is not the real identity. Then there is no more suffering. There is no more pain. Sometimes people say, see, when he spoke, it really hurt my ego. Yeah, ego is meant to get hurt only. Why? Because everybody's ego is clashing with every other person's ego. So Srila Prabhupada, our Acharya, gives one example. Suppose you go to a pond of water, still, calm water. You throw one stone there. What happens? It creates ripples, waves. And next to it you throw one more stone. It will also create ripples. Now those ripples and these ripples will clash. So my ego and my neighbor's ego is clashing. Because each one of us have a different center. Each one of us think we are the center of this world. That's why clashes between communities, nations, individuals, all this happens because each one of them feel we are the center, we are superior. But if you want to avoid these clashes, what you should do? Have a common center. If you have a common center, all thousands of people can be there and still there is no clash. So therefore, leading a God-centered life, if everybody becomes God conscious, if everybody understands actually every person is a part and parcel of Krishna, let us become Krishna conscious, let us become God conscious, then solved, all your problems are solved. It's solved. Actually, there are no problems only to solve. So we create problems, and then we start solving problems, and then we think now we are very advanced, we are able to solve so many problems. Now our solutions are all based on wrong assumptions. That creates more problems. The solutions themselves create more problems. Then you become busy solving those new problems. So now we have to come up with new technology to solve new problems. And then you will get Nobel Prize, recognition. Oh, why? Because you solved a new problem of the new age with new technology. So what are you doing in life? So is your life all about simply solving problems, creating problems, solving problems, creating problems, solving problems? So we are now very advanced people. So Bhagavad Gita is giving a, root level solution. First of all, don't create problem only. Why you want to create problem and then become busy in solving that problem? So one example, see earlier people used to travel barefoot. Or maybe they would go on a horseback or on camels or something like that, bullock carts and all. Then somebody thought, no, this all, it will take a lot of time. Quickly we should be able to go. So then the Industrial Revolution, James Watt invented the steam engine. And that revolutionized so many, machinery, and they also invented then that got transformed into petrol engine and all of that. So we have vehicles now. Right? Now you may say, oh, vehicles have solved this transportation problem. Right? Vehicles have solved the transportation problem. Yes, true, 100% agreed. We should give all credit to them, all credit to James Watt and everybody. But then vehicles also generated new problems. Pollution problem, accident problem. Isn't it? These problems were not there for those who were traveling in bullock cart. They were peacefully, they would take 3 days to reach some place, but they were peaceful at least, no pollution. Their health was so good. But now we wanted to speed up the transportation, so now it has come at a cost of pollution. Then they'll say, no, yes, this is a problem, now we have to solve now, how to counter the pollution. So they will all meet at Geneva and say, we'll have a conference. Everybody please think how to reduce petrol consumption. So let us all use eco-friendly vehicles, electric vehicles. Now the electric vehicles will have many other problems. Everybody can't afford it and so many other problems. So one problem you want to solve, and the solution is producing n number of problems. Like a nuclear fission reaction it is. And we become busy solving all these problems. So what did you do in your life, sir? I solved so many problems. First of all, why did you create the problems? No, don't ask me that. No, we are advanced people. We should solve problems, that's all. So this is called being foolishly busy. Foolishly or busy? Busy, foolishly busy. Okay, now I'm not saying that we should not advance. No, you should not think that, oh, what is this person coming to Indian Institute of Science and speaking against science, technology. No, I'm not against science. In fact, we should use all science and advancement of science and technology in the right way. We should use. There's no problem. But apart from solving all these problems, life has got a much more important purpose. That is what Bhagavad Gita is pointing towards. If you want real peace, science and technology cannot give you real peace. It can only give you comforts, luxuries, but it will give problems. So ultimately, real peace, if you want to achieve, you should go back to your fundamentals. I am not the body, I am soul. Let me establish my connection with the Supreme Lord, Super Soul. This is the goal of life. So this is very important, and we should become busy in these activities also. Then we are intelligently busy. Otherwise, foolishly busy. So there is one interesting story that is told by Srila Prabhupada's guru, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. So he gave, this is very interesting, in fact. There was one guru and one disciple, brahmachari. He was a brahmachari, disciple. So the guru was instructing him in so many scriptures. And then finally the Guru handed over one Bhagavad Gita book to him and said, my dear disciple, by the time I come back, it might take about 1 year or so to come back. I'll go everywhere and visit some holy places and come back. By that time, you should have completed this studying of Bhagavad Gita. So this is my instruction to you. Every day you should sit down and study. This is my instruction. So simple living. He was leading a simple life. Brahmachari disciple. In a small hut he was living. And he would beg in 2-3 houses every day, whatever was required for his sustenance. Things were coming to him. He had only 2 pairs of clothes. One he was wearing, the other one he would wash and hang it there. Simple living. He was not going to mall and purchasing a number of dresses and all that. Simple living. What is that? Freedom sale, Independence Day sale will come on Amazon, and what is that called? Big Billion Days, and etc. All of these things. No, all such were not there. So he's very happy. Santushta means satisfied with whatever he had. So after one day what happened? The Guru went away. So he was every day trying to read Bhagavad Gita based on his Guru's instruction. So one day when he woke up, he saw that the dress that he had put for drying, that had many holes in it. It was torn. Then he discovered that actually rat is the cause of this problem. Oh, there are some rats in this hut nearby. It's somehow coming. Whole night it was eating this cloth. And now I don't have a cloth to wear properly. What to do? So somebody came. There are many people who give mufat mein advice. A lot of people come and give you advice when you're in problem. So one intelligent person came and told, what is the problem? If you want to solve this rat problem, you should have a cat with you. See, if you have a cat in your hut, in your place, cat will take care of the rat. You don't have to worry. So problem solved. Over. Simple. He said, this is a very nice, appealing solution. Let me do it. So he went somewhere and asked somebody to give a cat in charity. He brought the cat. And he kept it in his house and he said, now I can peacefully sleep and read Bhagavad Gita. My problems are all solved. But the next day when he woke up, he was utterly surprised that, his cat is making loud noises. Why? Because it is hungry. Doodh chahiye. It is hungry. He has to feed milk. This poor brahmachari, where will he bring milk? He himself is living by begging. How will he arrange milk? Now that person came and told one more solution. Mufat mein solution dena. So he came and told, the best thing is, nearby there are some rich people, they are doing some godana. Godana means cow, bada punya milega, godan karenge, kar rahe hai. So they are giving cows in charity. You go and ask for one cow in charity and your problem will be solved. That cow will give milk for you also, for your cat also. So no problem at all. Then he said, very nice, let me go and do it. So he got a cow and he said, now all my problems are solved. Shanti, now peace. But next day morning again, he is hearing two voices. Cat is also hungry, cow is also hungry. Cow needs grass, otherwise how will it give you milk? Isn't it? So day by day, his time that he was spending for reading Bhagavad Gita was coming down. He was busy managing these things. Then that person again came and said, I'll tell you the best solution. This is the top solution I'll give you. Nobody would have given you better than this. Just get married, See, if you have a wife will take care of you. Wife will take care of the cow. Wife will also take care of the cat. All your problems are solved. Right? He said, so there is sense in what you are saying. Let me apply this solution. So he got married. And then, after getting married, things were going on nicely for a few days. He was thinking, now I've got some peace of mind. I can read Bhagavad Gita. So when he was trying to sit at home and reading Bhagavad Gita, wife told, what is this? How long we are going to live in this hut? Go out, work hard, get money. We should build our own house. Every time you are simply sitting and reading Bhagavad Gita, ऐसे कैसे चलेगा? So she sent him out of the house. Go, get lot of money. Do some pujas in many people's house, get some money. Dakshina, dan, you get, we should have our own house. How long you were living all these days with this hut, how can I live? She started demanding. Now this poor fellow, he had no other option, he had to go out. So whole day he was busy doing so many pujas, vratas in so many people's houses. But his Bhagavad Gita reading didn't happen. So after 1 year, the Guru came back to see. So the Guru had seen a lot of things have changed. So where is this person? So he had gone out, he came back after knowing that his Guru had come, and then he said, how is your Gita Adhyayan going on? Gita study, how is it going on? So he said, my dear Guruji, this is my Gita Samsar. My Gita Samsar is there. To solve one problem, I invented another. To solve one problem, I invented a solution, and that solution brought another problem. So to solve the rat problem, he invented cat solution, but the cat solution produced new cat problems. To solve the cat problem, he invented the cow solution, but the cow solution produced new cow problems. To solve the cow problem, he invented the wife solution. Wife solution produced new wife problems. To solve the wife problems, he did so many other things, and it produced so many other problems. He's busy solving all those problems, and he has no time for studying Bhagavad Gita. So this is how we become implicated in illusion. This is how we become busy. Many times we say, I'm busy. People say, people are busy like this, solving problems, unwanted problems in life. Real thing? No, not bothered at all. So this is a big tragedy. If such a thing is keeping us busy in life, that's the biggest tragedy in human life. So, one last verse we'll discuss and close. We'll open for questions. So, towards the end of the second chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna asks a question: what are the symptoms of a person who has achieved spiritual perfection? How do we know that you achieved spiritual perfection? Okay, Krishna, you told so many things. You told we should work with detachment. You told, we are not the body. You told about the various characteristics of the soul. All these things you told. But how do we know whether I have achieved the result of practicing all these things? How do I know whether I have attained that spiritual perfection? So the Lord replies, he says, Prajahati yada kaman sarvan partha manogatan atmanyev atmana tushtaha stita pragnas tadochyate. So the Lord says, the first and the foremost symptom of a stita prajna means person who is situated on the spiritual platform. The first and the foremost quality is he does not chase after the desires generated by his mind. So the day you become free from chasing behind mind's desires, that day you have attained liberation. That is why in our three session series also I was talking about mind every now and then, because mind is such a powerful thing, and we should learn how to manage the mind. So if you are mindful, mindful, then you can actually come up with wonderful approaches to various problems in life. So I'll give you an example. Since tomorrow we are going to celebrate Ganesh Chaturthi, we'll talk about Ganesha. So Ganesha is called Vignaharta, he is also called Vignakarta. He creates obstacles for those who are going on the wrong path. But he also removes obstacles for those who are on the pious path. That's why he's called Vignakarta, Vignaharta. Okay. This famous story where Ravana did tapasya, pleased Lord Shiva. He got the Atma Linga, special from Lord Shiva. He wanted to take that Atma Linga and he wanted to install that in Lanka. But Ganesha didn't want that to happen. Right? How many of you know this story? Okay, many of us know. So what he did, he went in the guise of a cowherd boy. And this happened in the ocean beach side. So when Ravana was bringing that Shivalinga, so he wanted to do his Sandhya Vandana in the evening time. Sun was about to set and he had to offer oblations in the water. So he saw if anybody can help him, and he saw this cowherd boy is there. So he said, please come here. And he said, take care of this till I come back. So then he said, see, 3 times I'll call your name. What's your name? My name is Ravana. The moment he heard Ravana, he started shivering. You are Ravana. Ravana is a terrorist. The meaning of the word Ravana is terrorist, Ravana means one who causes others to cry. One who makes others fear. He's called Ravana. Ravana means his job is to make others cry. So such a person, how can he be a hero? Many people today, they try to idolize Ravana as a hero. Ravan Leela. They make movies, such kind of nonsense movies, right? So anyway, so this person, he said, okay, 3 times, before that only I'll come back. I'll not give you the opportunity to call me 3 times, So he said, okay. So then this boy started, once he called Ravana. He said, wait, I'm coming. I'm just finishing. I'm doing my Gayatri Japa. I'll come back. Second time, Ravana. He started walking. And third time, quickly he said, Ravana. And then he kept that and ran away from that place. So in this way, Ganesha created obstacle for Ravana. So if we have mentality similar to Ravana, then Ganesha will create lot of vignas. Right? But then, there's one more interesting story. Today we are reading Bhagavad Gita. You know why? Because Ganesha wrote it down. If Ganesha had not written this Bhagavad Gita, then Bhagavad Gita would not have been available. In fact, when Vyasadeva, Veda Vyasa, when he wanted to compose this Mahabharata, so Vyasadeva composed the Vedas, Upanishads, everything. He actually compiled, not composed. He compiled Vedas, Upanishads, everything. But then he said, common people will not be able to understand the intricacies of Vedic knowledge. So if I can give the same knowledge of the Vedas in a story format, common people also can understand. That was his intention. So he wanted to write this Mahabharata. Outwardly, the plot of the story is, war between 2 families, or Kauravas and Pandavas. But actually, if you study the Mahabharata, it has so many knowledge from the Vedas. It has so much. It is embedded with. That's why it is called Panchama Veda. It's called the 5th Veda. It is studying Mahabharata is as good as studying the entire Vedas. So when he had this intention in mind, he approached Lord Brahma. So Lord Brahma said, Vyasadeva said, my dear Lord Brahma, I need somebody who can assist me in this great work. I intend to compose the verses and write down. But I need somebody, as I compose the verses, somebody should be able to write it. If I start writing, it will take a lot of time. I need free mind thinking for composing the verses, and somebody should just note it down. So I want a scribe. Scribe means somebody who writes. So Lord Brahma said the best scribe is Ganesha. You please ask him, he will definitely help you. So Vyasadeva asked Ganesha, and Ganesha was so happy. You have given such a great seva opportunity for me. So I will write down immediately. I'm ready to start now only. Let us start now only. So now Veda Vyasa put a condition. What is that condition? Whatever I say, you should understand it, then only write. Not simply taking dictation. You should understand, then write. Then Ganesha also put a counter condition. What is that counter condition? You should not stop saying. You should continuously keep speaking, and I'll continuously keep understanding and writing. So that is the level of intellect of Ganesha. Right? Now when he was writing, after writing few verses, the quill with which he was writing broke. So Vigna came. Sometimes Vigna can come in the life of those who create Vignas for others also. So Ganesha, who is Vigna Harta, Vigna is coming in his life, in his action of writing Mahabharata. He said, no, I will not stop. So what he did, immediately he broke his tusk and used the sharp point of the tusk and started writing. So what do we understand from this? Once you start one noble cause, noble work, whatever may be the problem, you should not stop. And you should be ready to use all your available resources to complete that task. This is very, very important that Lord Ganesha is teaching us. Right? And the Mahabharata, the cream of Mahabharata is Bhagavad Gita. In fact, it is told that the main reason why why Vyasadeva composed Mahabharata was to give this 700 shlokas of Bhagavad Gita to the humanity. So among the 1 lakh shlokas of Mahabharata, 700 shlokas is the cream. Just like you have milk, from the milk you get cream. Cream is the most important part of the milk. So in the same way, Mahabharata is like that. And the first person to understand and write the Mahabharata, of course after Arjuna, is Ganesha. So, tomorrow we are going to celebrate this Ganesh Chaturthi, and really if you want to please Ganesha, you must take up serious study of Bhagavad Gita, because this is a book that he has written. This will be the greatest way of worshipping Ganesha. Ganesha will be most pleased if you actually simply take to the study of Bhagavad Gita. Many times we do festivals blindly, not knowing what is the purpose and who is this person whom you are worshipping. We don't have any, we become too ritualistic. Actually what pleases Ganesha the most is this. If you can take up the study of Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is the cream of all knowledge. Now whatever we discussed so far, it is all based on Bhagavad Gita. Many times when we hear such things, we may get thrilled. Oh, this is so nice, sahi hai, we say. We think I will follow this, but later on we miss out, we forget it, because we are busy solving other problems. So much problems are there in my life, I'm solving those problems. But actually if you can make it part of your daily life, 10 minutes of mantra meditation, 10 minutes of Bhagavad Gita reading, 1 page you read, no problem. Even if you don't understand, you read. Sometimes people say, I don't understand, should I still read? No problem, it's in simple language, it's in English. Prabhupada has written this, it's the most authorized Bhagavad Gita as it is coming in the Parampara system. Don't go by the volume of this book, it has about 700 pages. But even if you read 1 page a day, and even if you don't understand, it's okay. Because it's not an intellectual way of understanding this Bhagavad Gita. When you're reading Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is speaking to you. He reveals within your heart based on your sincerity. There is one nice story. There was a grandfather and a grandson. So every day the grandfather would read Bhagavad Gita. It was a daily part of his life. He was reading every day. Now grandson was observing this every day. Sometimes children imitate their elders. So after the grandfather finished reading Bhagavad Gita, the grandson would come and sit in that place and also imitate as though he is also reading. But he could not understand anything. Of course, he knew reading, but he could not understand what Krishna is trying to say. So then he went and told his grandfather, see, every day I am seeing from so many years you are reading Bhagavad Gita. So even I read just for 10 minutes, I could not understand anything, head or tail of it. How are you managing to read all these years? What have you understood? The grandson asked. So what is the use of reading something which you don't understand? Like this he was asking. So then the grandfather wanted to teach him, a bigger principle. So he said, okay, you please go and get that basket. It was a basket which was used for carrying coal. Coal, in the olden days people used to have coal for cooking and all that. So it was very black, because every day coal was carried in that basket. It was a bamboo basket. So much of coal black particles had got deposited in the interior and exterior of that box, of that thing. So he said, you bring that box, that basket. He said, okay, the boy brought it promptly. And he said, you use this bamboo basket, go to our well, fetch some water in that well. First of all, he was surprised. Why grandfather is giving me such an impractical instruction? How can this bamboo basket, which has so many holes in it, how can it hold water? The moment I take it out, all the water will go away. He said, no, don't give me any logic, just go and bring. So he said, okay, he went. So first time he went. By the time he brought the water in the basket, by the time he carried the basket, it was empty. So his grandfather asked, where is the water? Go again, you bring. So again he went. Again he brought. Every time, some 5 times he did this. Every time it was empty. So he said, enough now, you are making a fool of me. What are you trying to do, my grandfather? Why are you making me do this meaningless task? So he said, now, okay, now you're very tired. It's okay, sit down. But you look at this basket now. How is it now? After 5 times of coming in contact with water, what it has become clean. It has become cleansed. Earlier it was so dirty because of the coal particles. Now you see it has become clean. He said, in the same way, with 1 reading, 2 readings, you may not be able to understand everything what Krishna is trying to say in the Bhagavad Gita. But if you repeatedly read, your heart will get cleansed. Your mind will get purified. Because this is not ordinary knowledge. This is spiritual knowledge. Spiritual knowledge, it can create purity. It can cause our heart to get cleansed. Cheto darpana marjanam, it is called. Cleansing of the heart. So don't think that by my intellectual ability, by my grammar ability, by my English, I will be able to understand Bhagavad Gita. No, we have to just make an attempt of sincerely reading, and the Lord, the Acharya, will reveal the knowledge to you. So we must have that kind of a humble attitude. Then knowledge will come to you. So, but we must make an attempt to read. So therefore, the best tribute, the best puja to Lord Ganesha, I feel, is to read the book that he wrote himself. By breaking his tusk, he wrote for all of us. So we should read, no? That is a real puja of Ganesha. Right? So we'll close here. Any questions anyone has, please. Any questions, comments? Yes, yes. I forgot your name, sorry. Nilesh. Yeah.
How one soul is different from the other?
Each soul is unique.
Let's say if we talk about a person, so person has some characteristics. So we judge whether the person is nice or not nice. So what are the characteristics of the soul? So whether the soul is nice or not?
Yeah. So there are some common characteristics of all the souls that Krishna explains in the 2nd chapter if you read. Achedyoyam adahyoyam. For example, soul has all the qualities opposite to matter. Matter can be cut into pieces, soul cannot be cut into pieces. Matter can be moistened by water, soul cannot be. Then fire can burn the soul, the matter, body, but fire can't burn the soul. So these are all common features. Every soul has these features. So every soul is Sat, Chit and Ananda. Sat means it is eternal, Chit means full of knowledge, Ananda means blissful. Soul is actually blissful, but why are we facing miseries now? As I told, we explained that because of our attachment to the body, wrong understanding that I am the body. Now what is unique about each soul? Each soul has a unique one-to-one relationship with Krishna. That means the way you serve Krishna, he cannot serve. The way he serves Krishna, she cannot serve. Each soul has a one-to-one unique relationship with Krishna. So there are general characteristics of the soul, and then there is specific relationship. So on the basis of a spiritual relationship, each soul is unique. Okay?
If Krishna wants to identify ourselves as not as a body but as a soul, what is the reason that he has given the body?
To realize that you are not the body. So, we have this body for what purpose is your question, right? Now, each one of us, we are part and parcel of Krishna. We are Amsha of Krishna. But then, we also have something called free will. Free will means I can choose to do certain things, I can make my choices. God never imposes his decisions upon us. Now this is something which is very unique to Sanatana Dharma. In other cultures, in other scriptures, you will find that if you disobey God, had it for you, means you are going to eternally suffer in hell. Because God is, you have to please Him, whatever He says you should do. But that is not there in the Bhagavad Gita. In fact, after instructing entire thing to Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says, Yathechasi tatha kuru. Yatha ichhasi tatha kuru. Now I have told everything to you. Now you contemplate, you decide what you want to do, you do like that. So, Krishna respects our free will. God respects our free will. So using our free will, we have desired, I want to enjoy independent of God. That root cause of our material body is our desire to enjoy independent of God. And since there are varieties and varieties of desires, there are varieties and varieties of species and subspecies. Somebody wants to enjoy by being in the water. So there are so many aquatic bodies. Somebody wants to have the enjoyment of flying in the sky. There are so many birds and other creatures. So, and each bird is different from the other bird in its own way. So therefore, desire to enjoy independent of God is the cause of our material existence and we getting different bodies.
So we believe in karmic energy. So we believe in karma. Does it hold only for humans or
Yeah.
broad species we actually think this?
Karma applies only to human species, not to other species. Other species are only going through the results of their karma. Finally, all the species have to advance and come to human life. Human life is like a junction. You have a choice to get out of the wheel of repetition of birth and death, or you can choose to continue. So you can continue in the same cycle. Punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam. So human life is a junction. If you are driving a vehicle, you come across a junction, that is the time you have to make a choice, whether to go left or to go right or to go continue, right? So human life is a junction. So karma applies in human life.
Sir, one last question. You spoke about keeping ourselves away from the worries, or like how Gautam Buddha, when someone came and scolded him, he just kept quiet and smiled. Didn't it hurt you? Means he just hurted you because it didn't hurt me because I didn't receive whatever you told. So is ignorance is the practice over there? He's actually
No.
emphasizing.
For many people, ignorance.
Ignoring, sorry, not ignorance, ignoring.
Yeah. So it's not about ignoring. It's about having a positive alternate. See, Buddha's way is different from what Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita. So Buddha says, yes, miseries are caused because of your desire, so you become desireless, which is not practical. You cannot become desireless. You are not a stone. The moment you are a living entity, you have your desires, aspirations, thoughts, feelings, all of these come into picture. So he says, since you have a body, since you are present now, so you are going through problems, so you just don't exist. Shunya, become Shunya. That is a Buddhist philosophy. It's like, suppose somebody has a lot of property, he has to pay property tax. Better let me destroy all my property. Na rahega baas, na bajegi bansuri. This kind of a philosophy. So I will not have a property, so no need to pay property tax. This is Shunyavada. But this is not what Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita. He says that you exist eternally. You may get rid of this body, you will have another body. Therefore, now you got human life where you have higher intelligence. Use it in such a way that you don't have to take birth again. So you have to do activities, you have to have thoughts, but you spiritualize your thoughts. Spiritualize your activities. For example, you have to eat food. Before eating food, offer to God. Express your gratitude. Accept that prasadam. Eating is not ignored. So it's not that you don't eat at all. No. You eat, but in a right way, in a proper way, spiritualized way. So like this, all activities of our life can be spiritualized. In fact, Arjuna fought the war of Kurukshetra. His war also is spiritual. His fighting is also spiritual. He didn't get any karma reaction for that. So this is explained in the 3rd chapter. Next week we will talk about. In the next chapter we will talk about this. How to act in such a way that you don't get implicated by the results. That is the art of doing work. Yoga karmasu kaushalam. Krishna says in the 3rd chapter. That we will talk in the next. Very good questions. Thank you. Any other question? Can you please distribute the malas? Yes.
When you said suffering is optional,
Yeah.
so as you said about this concentration gambling,
Yeah.
what suffering are you referring to? Is it physical, psychological, what kind of suffering?
Suffering is caused because of mental concoction. So-called material happiness is also concoction of the mind only. Right? For example, suppose somebody feels that eating sweets is real pleasure. If it was absolutely pleasurable, then why will some people hate sweets? There are some people who don't like sweets at all. Whereas some people think that sweets are too good. I should eat more and more. So there is no absolute value. Absolutely there is nothing called pleasure particles inside that sweet. It is what you think. So when we say about suffering is optional because if you stop processing, if you stop listening to your mind, then there is no suffering. You may experience physical pain, but you are not implicated by it. The problem is we become too busy in following the dictates of the mind and solving the problems which are caused because of those things. We forget the real thing. That is problem. Suppose somebody gets fever, you have to go through fever. You cannot say, oh, they said suffering is optional for me, why fever has come? Why fever is not optional for me? No, fever is not optional. Miseries are compulsory, but suffering is optional. How I perceive that misery, each one perceives it differently. Many times the same situation, somebody will overreact, somebody will hardly react, somebody will not give any response at all. Why? Because each person's concoctions and equations within his mind are different. You got the point? Okay, good. Can we meet after this and discuss? Yeah. So let us now do the mantra meditation. I hope all of you are doing it every day. That's not optional. Okay? Suffering is optional, but chanting is not optional. Right? Please do it every day. Let us do it now. Anyone first time doing this today? No, right? So everyone knows how to handle the beats. So let us quickly begin. Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita Gadadhara, Sri Vasadi, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Let's do it together. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare.